everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Aubrielle, your host for Divine Love in Living, where we shift from living in lack to living in love. For today's video, I would like to discuss the uber fun topic of loneliness. And yes, I understand, to feel lonely is not fun at all. I have a lot of experience with feeling loneliness, which is what's prompting me to create this video for you guys. I've been able to work with it to the point that I've actually fallen in love with being alone and received all the gifts from that, and figured I'd come on this video here to share that with you. So, the lack perspective of being alone and loneliness. I mean, it's just kind of self-explanatory, right? There's generally this deep fear of being alone because there is nothing to distract us from ourselves. When you are sitting in a room completely alone, say you have no cell phone, no TV, no musical instrument or book, nothing to distract you, just nothing there. It's just you and your thoughts. That actually terrifies a lot of people, mostly because, whether we realize it or not, we don't have a very kind mind. We have a mind that's generally very narcissistic. It's very much a bully. It will cause us to think terrible thoughts, whether worst case scenarios, things we're afraid of, maybe insults towards ourselves, maybe insults towards other people that cause us to start feeling agitated and angry. To be completely alone with ourselves means we actually have to meet ourselves and discover who we are. And for the human race in general, that can be scary. That can be wildly uncomfortable. It can be something that some people will literally do everything in their power to run from for their entire life. They will fill that void of aloneness that the ego experiences as loneliness. That void will be filled with experiences and relationships and material possessions and basically anything that can distract you and keep you from having to meet yourself, from having to meet your ego self face to face and make peace with your ego. Which, by the way, when you make peace with your ego, it's kind of like game over. Not in a bad way, in a great way, because when you've made peace with your ego, you've integrated your ego. You've integrated your ego, that means you've seen all of your dark sides, your shadows. You've gone so far into the darkness that you've become the light. And when you become the light, now there's no fear of the darkness. So it can be there, but it has no power over you anymore. You just get to be the light. So that's the ego's perspective of being alone, and that's why the ego is absolutely terrified to be left alone. It's also why we generally fear losing things, whether it's the fear of losing people, things, status, image, reputation, whatever it is. We'll fear losing it because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to have to sit with ourselves and only ourselves. The ego self believes it's not enough. It needs something else to be complete. And so to be completely alone and feel like you've lost everything that was completing you, that's a terrifying thought for most people. But now we're going to shift into the abundance, the eyes of love, the reason why loneliness, which can also just be experienced as aloneness, can be an incredible gift. Tell me, who do you think is the more wealthy person? The person who has everything they've ever wanted, but lives in fear of losing it? Or the person who lives with no fear of losing anything, regardless of how much or how little they have? To me, the more wealthy person is the one that doesn't live in fear. They get to wake up to the world every day and feel at peace, feel complete, feel all the love that they are, and not be afraid of losing it from an external source because they're insourcing it. They know it comes from within them. The more we accept and allow ourselves to be alone and to experience loneliness, aloneness, is the more we get to meet our ego self and we get to work with it. We get to develop a healthy relationship with ourselves. Instead of trying to develop healthy relationships with everything else first so that we then feel okay, it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. If we instead focus on developing a healthy relationship with our ego self, so our spirit self and our human self, our spirit self and our ego self, developing a super healthy relationship together makes for a really incredible life experience here. Because a lot of the outer conflicts we'll experience will disappear because we are not in inner conflict anymore. We're not fighting ourselves. We're not fighting our mind. Often the conflicts we think we have with other people, the things that really upset us about the world, about maybe other countries, about politics, about religion, any of that, a lot of those triggers are coming from unresolved aspects of our ego, parts of us that we haven't met yet, we haven't connected with, and we haven't dissolved the separation with, so that we can be connected with every single part of ourselves and not be in inner conflict, but experience inner peace. So the gift, the abundance that comes from being able to experience aloneness, and sometimes life will strip things away from us, sometimes in really tragic and terrible ways, so that we do find ourselves alone. And I'm not at all trying to minimize or bypass the emotional experience with that. If you've lost a loved one, if you've experienced the death of a lifestyle you were living, the death of a company, the death of a marriage, the death of a pet, we can experience loss in so many different ways. There is an emotional journey, an emotional experience that we're actually meant to go on with that. And I've created another video about tears as beautiful gifts of alchemy. They're tools for us to alchemize energy. The tears themselves help energy move. And so when we lose something, that grief, if we allow ourselves to go through it and process that emotion, allow it to be felt, that grief will be the gift that keeps on giving, because it keeps opening our heart. It keeps melting the walls that we've put up around our heart to try to protect ourselves from the pain of loss. When you're not trying to protect yourself from pain and from loss, you get to live with a lot more peace and with an open heart, and without trying to control everything so much. You get to just be, and to be able to just be and be authentic, be who you are, be here in the world, be present. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. That's what we're all here to feel and experience. So without the stripping away of the attachments, without the experience of being alone, and yeah, maybe it does feel lonely, and maybe that loneliness causes you to tear up and cry tears, at which point you're able to alchemize that loneliness into aloneness. There is actually a place you'll come to when you've processed loneliness to a point where you've started to make peace with it and become more comfortable with it, where you fall in love with yourself. Being alone doesn't scare you. Being alone feels sacred, and you realize you are enough. Everything you've ever been seeking from something outside of you truly does exist within you. But without being alone, without having that experience of losing all of the external sources of love and security and sense of belonging in the world, without losing all of that, it's really hard to connect with that. So it will feel excruciating at times to go through that process. And then to be able to come into that place of peace and acceptance with who you are and really start to meet the real you, the true you, the authentic you, the one who is absolutely incredible, who has come here with unique gifts. There is no other soul on earth that can do what you came here to do, because you are a unique expression of God. You are a unique expression of Source. Just like the sun has sunbeams that come out of it, it's kind of like, think about how every snowflake is slightly different than another. In this analogy, every sunbeam is unique. Yes, they're all connected to the sun. They all come from the sun. They actually are the sun, depending on how you look at it. And each ray of sunshine is unique. It's a unique expression of the source where we come from, the energy that gives us life. No one else can be your unique expression of Source. So when you get to meet that you and connect with that you and discover you are enough, you've got it. And you're here for a reason, and connect with that reason. It's probably the most amazing gift life can ever give you. And then all of those days of feeling so alone and so ignored, left out, separated, it all makes sense. It all lands, and you get to receive the gift that all of that was designed to give you. Even though while you were going through it, it felt like the worst thing that ever could be happening. So that's that shift. The ego perspective of being alone and loneliness, and then coming into the abundance perspective, receiving the gift, seeing it in a whole new light. Loneliness is just the judgment of being alone. And when you can truly receive the gift of being alone, a lot of things will shift and change. Thank you for being here, for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video, I welcome you to give it a thumbs up. If you've enjoyed this content, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. And if you are currently going through something that's causing you to really feel alone, it's causing you to be afraid to be alone, maybe you're experiencing those attachments fall away and it's not making any sense and it's really challenging, I invite you to click the link below to book a call with me. What I do is clarity coaching. And what that's designed to do is help you to see what you're experiencing with the eyes of clarity, so that you don't have to feel so afraid. You can feel more empowered to experience what you're going through and have a greater awareness of what's happening, so that the judgment doesn't have to hold on so tight and keep you stuck looping in what you're experiencing. So that link's below. If you'd like to chat, feel free to book a call. Thank you again for being here, and I hope to see you for the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, wherever you are. Bye now.